Welcome to the first episode in the Mix Reviews. This is a brand new film podcast in which we discuss and dissect and investigate.
Yes, all good words. Those are all good words of what we're going to attempt to do.
The career of a person in film. I am one of your two co-hosts, Gavin. I'm formerly of the Midtown Comics podcast and many other podcasts, including the Tribeca Film Institute. I have a long litany.
Such a pro podcaster.
Absolutely. So I like to call myself a podcast expert, which is a title I've given myself.
I mean, it's a good one, I think. There are worse things to call yourself, you know?
And you are?
My name's Louie. I've never done a podcast before. So.
That is not true. You one time called into one of my former podcasts.
I did.
Yeah.
I forgot that.
That's, yeah.
I was going to say go slow, but never mind.
You are a pro now, too.
Yes, yeah.
So that's basically our qualifications. For our first episode, we thought we would go in deep to somebody who's...
an icon of Hollywood.
Yes, absolutely. Somebody who's had a long career and well-rounded, and that person we picked is...
It's Kirsten Dunst.
It's Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst. True inspiration for many young person, I think. You know,
I once kissed Tobey Maguire upside down in the rain too.
Oh my God!
He doesn't remember, so I will just keep that under wraps.
I once kissed my neighbor upside down because they said it would be fun.
Spoiler alert! It's not.
It's really not fun.
I was going to say from what I've read and of the interviews she did after that, she's like, yeah, no, it was terrible,
awful. So why did we choose Kirsten Dunst? Maybe should we talk about that?
Absolutely. Sorry, I'm like setting glasses down. I'm super unprofessional.
I know. I cannot believe I have to work at this level. We wrote down a bunch of people down, and we were like, who should we pick? And you put her down, right?
I did put her down. And actually, she was the first on my list.
You right away were like, I want to talk about Kirsten. I just have to get this off my chest.
Well, I mean, I'll be perfectly honest. She's not somebody I always love in a role. And it's not our goal to take anybody down or to tear them down, but I think it's fun investigating somebody's career that's in this field, because it's always interesting to see what they do and what they don't do. And she's somebody I loved at the beginning of her career.
Okay.
And I've grown to love her more as
matured.
Yeah, exactly. But we'll get more into that later when we start sort of moving into our favorites and our least favorites.
Yeah.
But what made you? Because you were instantly like, oh, hello.
I mean, I think when I think of Kirsten Dunst, I think of very specific things right away, and then we kind of were parsing through what she's done, and I was like, oh, she's been in a lot of things and a lot of weird things. You think of your Bring It Ons and your Spider-Mans, and then you're like, but there's so much more.
Absolutely. Well, one of the investigating, you found out that she is in The Crow Salvation, which is the third Crow film, the same year as Bring It On came out.
She's worked a lot. Also, that's another thing. She's been working since she was a wee child.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, she began early in her career. Her first cast role is she was 4 years old, I think. They're 6 years old.
Something
in
crazy.
Woody Allen's Oedipus Rex, which is a short film, which
I'm sure was just so very heartfelt, it was a lift me up. I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Heartwarming story.
Just that's. But one of my favorite first early roles that I just discovered was she was on an episode of Star Trek Next Generation, which I'm sure I discovered many years ago and completely forgot.
Yeah, absolutely. But I just in my head, I was like, you know what? Good for her. We need to talk about her. America, we need to talk about Kirsten Dunst.
I agree. I think it's fascinating, the sort of career projection. I mean, I forget that in, years back to back, 94, I believe she did an Interview with the Vampire. And that to me was prime, in terms of, she's so good in Interview with the Vampire.
Okay, so, spoiler alert, I have not seen it. And, I always thought the movie was called Interview with a Vampire. People say it's so fast. And through my research, I'm like, Interview with the Vampire.
I do like that IMDb has retroactively gone back and changed it to, the Vampire Chronicles.
Yeah, it's Interview with the Vampire, the Vampire Chronicles. And I was like, wait, this entire time I was like, there's only one vampire in this universe? The vampire?
No, there's many. There's Louie, who's very whiny, but not you.
But also me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
And I saw the trailer, and I could have sworn that Brad Pitt was every character. And they were like, nah, this is a Mission Impossible guy.
Tom Cruise?
Tom Cruise.
Really? Tom Cruise is the one you forget.
Yeah, literally. I was like, how is this Brad Pitt character everyone? It's like him and like whatever.
It's Tom Cruise, Christian Slater, and very young Antonio Banderas, who's as you discovered earlier this week, my favorite young Antonio Banderas.
Yeah, it's your favorite Antonio Banderas is young Antonio Banderas, which I totally get. But I didn't know Tom Cruise was in this movie. They look exactly the same. They're just like hot with their cheekbones and the hair and like powdery faces.
Just so everybody knows, Louie's type is sallow.
Yes. I'm like, ooh, a touch of meth? Tell me more.
But yes, so that was her like big screen debut, and if you think about that, 2 years after that, she's in Jumanji. And I just think that's a really good dichotomy. There's this amazing scene in Interview Vampire where she cuts off her own hair because she can't, her appearance can't change because she was made a vampire as a child.
Yes.
And it's this role that you would never want to give to a child because it's so adult.
Which one of you did it? One of you did it! Which one of you made me the way I am?
What you are? A vampire gone insane that pollutes its own bed.
And if I cut my hair again?
It will grow back again.
But it wasn't always so. I had a mother once, and Louie, he had a wife. He was mortal, the same as she, and so was I.
Claudia!
You made us what we are, didn't you?
Stop her, Louie.
Did you do it to me?
And just to think about and then in 2 years, Haunted board game.
Well, she was in that, but also she was in Little Women.
That's true.
As a child.
I believe she was Jo in Little Women? Or no, is she Jo?
She was a Little Woman.
She's the one who dies.
Ooh,
Spoiler alert.
if you haven't seen Little Women.
Or read it.
Yeah.
This hundreds of years old book.
Is it 100 years old?
I think it's 100 years old at least.
I don't know if we know that for fact. Do not.
I will fact check that.
I guess also we should say we have not seen every Kirsten Dunst movie.
This is true. And there are plenty of blank spots, but not that many for me, I'll be honest.
I mean, I was like, there's definitely a vampire-sized hole in my knowledge of Kirsten Dunst. But so over the past week-ish, I have just been rewatching a bunch of stuff that I'd seen, watched some new stuff. And I thought between the two of us, we'll definitely have covered all of our bases.
Published in 1868.
Wow.
Yeah. Little Women. Over 100 years old.
Well, I'm really happy you decided to just pull all the receipts on me. Just to you know what?
I cannot be challenged, Louie.
You're you thought you knew. Anyway, if you're done shaming me for my knowledge. On the Little Women.
This is my knowledge shame section.
Perfect. Now that that's come to a close, should we keep talking about her or should we go into our picks?
I think we should go into our picks. Now, I'm very curious to see what you picked, and I know that we talked about this a little bit beforehand, but we made sure not to tell each other our picks, and yeah. I think that's an important element to this, is that not only are you surprised, listeners, we are surprised. We're surprised.
Yeah, what if I was my favorite movie of Kirsten Dunst is Spider-Man 3.
I really hope it's Tower of Terror.
Yeah, oh wow. It's Small Soldiers. And again, please just go into our IMDb. We don't have the time to talk about every movie, but there are some really weird choices she was making. Maybe I don't even know. I can imagine being 8 and being I guess I'll be in this haunted board game movie. What would you know? Also, what I just read, she was 15 and read the part for American Beauty. And she turned it down.
Yeah.
And she's she said, I think the Wikipedia page said something she didn't want to make out with Kevin Spacey. And I was fair.
We all feel you.
I mean, I don't know, maybe. On a good day. But yeah, so she was making some choices.
Yes. No, she's had what's the way to word it? It's a smart career, because one of the things that I like about her, she does have a tendency to move back and forth between independent and big budget film.
Yep.
She is one of those actors that I think you can tell when she doesn't want to be in a project. It's sort of what I call the Christina Ricci effect, which is that...
Shout out to Christina Ricci. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. When Christina Ricci's passionate about a project, she's so good. When Christina Ricci is in Sleepy Hollow, she is not.
When she's in Pan Am, it's just like, ugh. She's like, I guess I'll make this ABC.
Yeah, get me through the day.
Yeah.
Which is fine. We all gotta eat.
We gotta eat.
But I think that's what's sort of fascinating about Kirsten Dunst's career is I think she gives a good performance even when she's not that interested. You can kind of tell when she's not that interested, but it's all about the choices she's made, and I think she's done well for herself. Because once again, starting acting at a young age is not an easy thing, and she seems relatively well adjusted and very smart.
It seems crazy because she's kept working.
Yes.
She has been working consistently since Vampire.
The thing is there's not really a break, and I was just reading about how she did go to college, so like that's really impressive to be able to...
Good for you, Kirsten.
Yeah, exactly. To pull off that whole... I have time to do my studies and time to be on screen.
I'm a celebrity and I'm like educated. I'm James Franco. Hi.
I have friends who went to school with James Franco. I'm not going to talk about it here.
Tell me later, though.
Absolutely.
Okay. So when I first think of Kirsten Dunst, my immediate thought is Bring It On. It goes straight to Bring It On. And I thought for a while this was going to be my pick.
Why do you have to be so mean? I'm just trying to do the right thing here.
Look, I'm trying to be strong for my squad, okay? That's what a captain does.
Well, I'm a captain too, you know. And I'm trying to make it right.
You want to make it right? Then when you go to nationals, bring it. Don't slack off because you feel sorry for us. That way, when we beat you, we'll know it's because we're better.
I'll bring it. Don't worry.
But it's not.
Really?
It's not my pick.
I was expecting Bring It On. I
Really?
was. So I kept it off even though I think her performance in Bring It On is particularly really good.
Yeah. I mean, so Bring It On made me the gay boy I am today. Like, I remember watching Bring It On as a, like, little 7th grader. And, like, I've seen this movie 12 times and, like, knowing all the lines. Like, it's like a classic teen, you know, like comedy. Like, I think every Gen X millennial character, like, knows this movie backward and forward. It is, in every sense of the word, iconic. But it is not my pick. I think all of her, like, gifts and talents from Bring It On, paired with, like, her maturity and being, growing as a woman and as an actress, really all comes together in what I think is her best performance in Bachelorette.
Bachelorette?
Yes.
Interesting. Bachelorette, sidebar, not a movie I like.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like that movie. It's fine.
I fucking love that movie. Like, I've seen this movie.
Let it out.
I've seen this movie like 5 times. I watched it again yesterday, even though like I know this movie, and I know I like this movie, and I know I like her in this movie. I think this movie is so funny and smart, and like just doesn't care.
Yeah,
this movie gives like I can't believe this movie got made. First of all,
I think that's my thing with it, and I don't mean to interrupt, but like I love all of the actors in it, like, and I think they're really, really great.
Yeah,
and I cannot think of her name all of a sudden.
Isla Fisher. Her
weirdness and like the fact that her character is borderline suicidal.
Yeah,
is like it's amazing, and I don't know how they got away with putting it into a movie. Just something about the whole doesn't mesh with me. And I almost had trouble figuring out why any of the 3 leads were friends.
Yeah, I mean, I think the movie's, like, I mean, and we're not talking about, like, I don't want to get too much into, like, why the movie is great and whatever. I think, you know, Kirsten Dunst really does a good job in this, but as a whole, the movie, I think, is just about women and relationships, and, like, in the movie, if you haven't seen Bachelorette, it kind of, like, got lost in the shadow of Bridesmaids, essentially.
Yes, absolutely. It came out the same year.
And it's like similar title, not really the same story at all.
It's also very indie, and not to say that like there's a ton of, you know, mind-blowing special effects. There's no alien invasion in Bridesmaid, but it is a big screen movie.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
Bachelorette was a very, like, I remember renting it on iTunes when it came out.
Yeah, and I can't remember how I first came across it and saw it, but it's like the first thing I've seen Rebel Wilson in, where she's playing the straight woman.
Yeah.
She's not there for fat jokes.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
Yeah,
There's nothing that annoys me more.
Yeah, and
because let me tell this is sorry. You've got me on a path. Let me tell you, just naming a character Fat Amy and then being like, it's okay because she accepts it, and then lobbing fat jokes at her for 2 more hours. Okay.
I will say I do love Pitch Perfect.
It's fine. We're not all perfect. Okay.
But my pitch is perfect. Back to Bachelorette, my favorite Kirsten Dunst movie. It's just like, all my friends who, maybe this is saying about me, but my friends are like, yeah, they're doing a bunch of drugs and they're getting really lit. And like, I thought it's fascinating. Like, and the moment I realized this is my favorite Kirsten Dunst movie is at the very beginning of this movie. The movie's about, Rebel Wilson's character and her 3 other friends. They went to high school together and they were called the Bees, I think.
Yes.
Which I'm assuming stands for the bitches. And
what?
I know, shocking. And essentially, Rebel Wilson's character reveals that she's getting married. And obviously Rebel Wilson is a larger woman. And she's trying to tell this to Kirsten Dunst, who, like, her character is this vapid and, like, has a Cobb salad with, like, nothing on it. Like, so she has lettuce, essentially. And, just, like, loves telling stories about how she's saving children's lives and how chemo is so hard. And she's just, like, a very gross human being, essentially.
It's kind of a rare role for her.
Yeah, and I think like all her powers of like comedy and like all her other like bumbling like white girlfriend roles come together in this role where she's able to do all of that together. And so Rebel Wilson says, I have something to tell you about Dale. And Kirsten Dunst cuts her off and is like, oh my God, screw Dale. He sucks. You need to find someone who's like perfect for you, blah, blah, blah. And then, Rebel's like, well, we're getting married. And Kirsten Dunst's character doesn't say anything. She just like has like this really gross smile where she's like wanting to kill. I can't tell if she wants to kill herself or her friend.
We're friends since we were little girls, Becky. I want you to be with someone who shouts it from the rooftops.
No. That's why I can't really keep it a secret anymore. Dale asked me to marry him.
But and essentially, it's this dealing with the fact that your friend, and they're friends, they are friends, but she definitely thinks she's better than her friend.
Yeah.
She's like, I am skinny, I am beautiful, I'm smart. How am I not married yet? How is, my girlfriend who's fat and, just like all these things and having to deal with being happy for your friend.
Yeah, she's the more societal ideal than Rebel Wilson ends up in her mind.
Yeah.
Like I am the Barbie doll. Why is it not working out for me?
Yeah.
Where's my dream house?
And it's amazing because like this, like how things unfold over like, so essentially all the girls come together and like the 3 pretty girls are like kind of on the side, like making fun of Rebel Wilson's character, but they're still her friend. And I just think it's like, such a weird, like, I'm not a woman. I don't know, but I imagine lots of girls have relationships like that.
Yeah.
You know?
I think we all have friends we hate.
Absolutely. 10,000%. If you're listening, guys, you know who you are.
You know who you are. It's fine.
I just love that movie so much. And Isla Fisher and Lizzie Kaplan.
Oh my God.
So good.
Yeah. Perhaps a future episode will be devoted to Lizzie Kaplan.
Oh my God. And it's just like, in that movie, Kirsten Dunst is able to be the bitch I think she's always wanted to be.
Yeah.
She's not just like a stupid psychic girl. She has a great relationship with James Marsden in this movie.
Yeah.
James Marsden.
Underrated. James Marsden in everything underrated.
Yeah. James Marsden plays like kind of douche bro, and he's like this perfect foil to her because she's trying to be like type A bitch, and he's like nice try. But like they just have like this back and forth fighting thing, and they end up like just really are into each other. And it's disgusting. And just seeing Kirsten Dunst like take control. She like owns everything in that movie. I feel like seeing her in that, there was nothing in that movie where she's like, ugh, I have to do that again. I have to be this girlfriend again. I have to, be blah, blah, blah again. She's not. She gets to just, just be this really kind of in control, bitchy woman and be funny. She's hilarious.
Yeah.
But also like there's a lot of serious, tender moments in there where it's like, we're dealing with anorexia in this movie, drug habits and like love and all that stuff. But also at the end of the day, they're like, whatever, let's get wasted.
So if I had to pick a favorite out of her entire catalog, and it's such a weird counterpoint to Bachelorette, it is Lars von Trier's Melancholia.
Really?
Yeah. Melancholia is when I think I realized how amazing she can be if she's really in tune with the work she's doing. And that's not me saying anything bad, because I also think she's done a lot of really great work with Sofia Coppola. And I think the indie part of her is where her soul really sort of is.
Yeah.
The Virgin Suicides, Marie Antoinette, I think like they connect really well. But one of the things that's really impressive in Melancholia, in which it could arguably be said she plays a very similar character to Bachelorette, except for the fact that like she is getting what she wants and she's not happy.
Yeah.
And one of the things I think that she does really brilliantly in Melancholia is she's very quiet, and like Melancholia is this movie where she's a woman who's getting married. The first half is about her marriage, and the second half is about the end of the world. And
same.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's what's interesting about it is she convincingly portrays a person who is experiencing extreme depression in a way that I think is really hard to understand for most people. And especially as the movie ekes towards the destruction of the earth. And I know some people who think the movie is completely too dark or completely too like morose and into itself. And like, but the hard part that she has to do as an actor is she has to play the role, of somebody who's not bothered by this, because in a way her world is already ended.
Yeah.
And she's already come to terms with that.
I watched Melancholia 2 nights ago.
You watched it? I was expecting you not to have seen it. That's...
I'm pointing, you thought. Girl, you thought. I watched it, but it's funny because I was really trying to pack in as many Kirsten Dunst movies.
It's a long movie, too, to be like, I'm packing things in.
It's such a long movie, and I watched it after work. I got home, I'm in bed, like... And I was like, this is not the movie to be watching right now.
Oh, no. No, the movie literally destroyed me the first time I watched it. Like I was in pieces. Like,
if you think I finished it, you're crazy. I fell asleep. I got through.
Was it the excellent use of the Tristan and Isolde overture 9,000 times?
I was gonna say I was living for the music, and but like I got to the ending-ish part, and like things are starting to go awry. Her sister's like losing her mind because the world is ending.
Oh, really amazing Charlotte Gainsborough as well.
Kiefer Sutherland is there, right?
Yep.
I was like, what are you doing here, Kiefer? And
Jack Bauer can't save the world this time.
I know. And
is that meteor a terrorist?
Yeah, he's like, oh no, fine. Okay, never mind. I was like, it's a very beautiful movie. I remember like watching the beginning and I was like, what's happening? And I was sad to see Alexander Skarsgård go.
Yeah.
When he left.
Well, I mean, the scene, the thing that I always think about is the scene where she like goes off at her own wedding and fucks some guy on a golf course, and it means nothing to her because she's just so lost in her own, like she's just trying to feel and like she's incapable of it at that point, and she needs like professional help and she's not getting it. And it's weird to see that contrast because it's literally like, when you are depressed, and I'm not a doctor, I'm not diagnosing anything.
Well, you're not a doctor.
Yeah, exactly. But I am a reverend. Different story. When you're depressed, like, it feels like that. It feels like the world is ending. So, like, to put her in the situation in which the world is ending, she's already cut off.
Yeah, there's nothing
like,
there.
Yeah.
You know what I think of your plan?
No. I was hoping that you might like it.
I think it's a piece of shit.
Justine, please. I just wanted to be nice.
Nice? Why don't we meet on the fucking toilet?
Then let's not.
You're damn right, let's not.
And I think that this is not about her, I guess. I mean, when I saw the movie, I was like, oh, I get it. Like, she really, that's definitely a point where I was like, she is going places that she has not been before.
Yeah.
Because I think she kind of has like, she's a very broad actress, I think.
Yes.
She,
subtlety's not her bag.
Yeah. No, for real. And I tend to enjoy her comedies more.
Yes.
And so I just saw Dick today.
For the first time?
For the first time, just very saintly I am. But like that, Bring It On, Bachelor even, what's that movie? Get Over It?
So I was going to say, if I had to pick a second one, it's Get Over It.
Oh my God.
And I know that's insane. I know that the dichotomy of that is insane. Let me tell you, Get Over It, not a good movie. Not a good movie.
I mean, it has Cisco in it. So.
Yes. Get Over It is a teen comedy in which she plays the love interest to
Ben Foster.
Ben Foster, thank you.
I wonder if he remembers that and is like, oh, I'm such a serious actor. We did an episode on him.
Yes.
Because he's a weird.
He's a
weirdo.
So Ben Foster, who is fighting for her affection with Shane West, star of CW's Nikita.
Star of Mandy Moore's A Walk to Remember.
Yes, as I said, CW's Nikita. And Cisco is in it also as his best friend who teaches him to dance.
Yes,
and
something like that.
Also, I suddenly can't think of her
Mila
name.
Kunis.
Mila Kunis, who's fantastic in it. And Martin Short. It is an insane movie.
Oh my God, I forgot Martin Short. He plays like a theater director.
He steals the movie. He's in another movie altogether. It is the run-of-the-mill. It is the early 2000s, the time period in which
it's teeny bopper.
Yeah, everything was out at the time. She's all that. And, like, it's in that vein. But the main plot is the high school is doing a musical, and Martin Short is the director, and he's done a musical version of A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Yes.
And she gets cast in the lead role, and Ben Foster, who cannot sing, ends up in it. And her performance is really not that broad. And it's interesting to watch her work in this reality in which everyone's being really broad.
Yeah.
And especially against Martin Short, who is like 2'11".
No.
Like he's like playing to the rafters of the rafters.
Always.
And it's so cool that you get to see her give this like subdued performance in this like cartoony over the top world. On top of that, you also get to hear her sing. It was the first time she ever sang.
I was saying she has like a whole musical number, doesn't she?
Absolutely.
Let me sleep, for when I sleep, I dream that you are here. You're mine, and all my fears are left behind. I float on air. The nightingale sings gentle lullabies. So let me close my eyes.
And it's good, and it's really good. And I just want to give a shout out later on. She then did The Cat's Meow, which I believe is currently the last film of Peter Bogdanovich. I don't think he's done another film since, who's like Orson Welles' protege, best friend. Yeah, exactly.
In this movie, she's like wooing Hearst? Right?
Yeah, well, she's Hearst's girlfriend because it's based on a real story where she died mysteriously, and she like there's like a love triangle between her and Hearst, who's played by Edward Herrmann, and Eddie Izzard. Yeah, exactly.
R.I.P.
And Eddie Izzard, who's playing Charlie Chaplin.
Eddie Izzard, who like I didn't recognize. I haven't seen the movie, but I saw the trailer and I was like, he's not wearing a dress.
Yeah, it's a good-ish movie. It's a well-made movie with a lot of talented people behind it. It's a little boring. But she has a cover of the song After You're Gone on the soundtrack. It's so good. Yeah. And I'll play a little bit.
Yeah.
After you've gone and left me crying, after you've gone, there's no denying you'll feel blue, you'll feel sad, you'll miss the dearest pal you've ever had.
I think she's like very when I talk to people, they're like, is she a good actress? I don't know. And I'm like, I get the sense when people are like, she does a lot of the same things, but when all of her movies where she's like, I'm sad, and she kind of does like one thing, or like, I'm silly, or, I don't know. I guess, is this a good point to like now talk about like our least favorite things?
Yes, I think this is a good jumping off point because for every good performance or every good film someone makes, there has to be an equal bad film. Yeah. And once again, I have mentioned some films in which she's good and the film is bad. But there's definitely films where she is the problem.
Yeah, she's not great. I want you to go first this time, though.
Okay, so I'm going to say something controversial because it's not just one. It's actually 3. And that's the entire
Spider-Man?
the entire Spider-Man trilogy.
The Sam Raimi.
Yeah, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. Tobey Maguire's James Franco, again, twice in one episode. And she is particularly not interested in being in those movies.
Oh, yeah.
And it's funny because when I was rooting around for like interviews and stuff, I found from her latest film, Hidden Figures, in which she mentions that one of the fun things about doing Hidden Figures is it's not a superhero film. And,
she like is very like wanting to throw shade.
Exactly. And so in the Spider-Man movie, she plays Mary Jane Watson, who eventually becomes Mary Jane Watson Parker in the comic books, which is not, she never gets quite to that point. But she gets increasingly lethargic as the series goes on.
Disinterested.
Yeah. But her one saving grace is the third movie is so bad that it doesn't matter how bad she is.
There's no, like...
So the one shining moment in the Spider-Man trilogy is Spider-Man 2. It's the only one I believe is actually even rewatchable. But she's really bad. So I would say her worst performance is that. There's the very famous scene in which Dr. Octopus attacks Peter Parker in a coffee shop and throws a car at her. But right before that, there's this really heavily emotional scene where she's asking Peter Parker if he loves her. And it's almost like she's on Ambien. She's not in that scene.
Her like red wig is doing more acting than she is.
Wait a minute. What are you saying?
I'm saying... I thought I could be there for you, Mary Jane. But I can't. My mind was playing tricks too.
Do you love me or not?
I don't.
You don't.
She is so sleepy that she doesn't care if Peter Parker loves her or not.
She was in that for the check.
Yes.
That.
And I cannot think of a worse performance for Kirsten Dunst than the entirety of the role of Mary Jane Watson. And I love that speaking of singing, she has a song in the third movie. And
I don't remember this.
Well, because she becomes an actress. She's not only a model, she's an actress.
Oh, that's right. Yes, obviously.
Much like the tree lighter in Batman Returns, she doesn't just model or light trees. She's an actress. She has a song. There's a big staircase. It's not good. None of it's good. And
when I sing, I too prefer it to be upon staircases. So I understand.
Absolutely,
I do have some empathy for her there.
I feel like it was written into her contract, and I would pay good money if I could prove that it is not her voice. Because once again, we've heard her sing in 2 other films, and it does not sound like either of those things.
Wow. I mean, so to talk a little bit about her singing, do we think it's her singing in Marie Antoinette? There's no way, right?
No, probably not.
Probably not. That was like opera level. Like,
yeah. I think that's probably faked a bit too.
Yeah.
She's good in Marie Antoinette.
She was good.
Yeah.
So my least favorite Kirsten Dunst movie has to be The Crow.
The Crow Salvation. Crow episode 3. Salvation.
Yes. I haven't seen any Crows except Crow Salvation.
You've not seen any of them?
I know.
Oh goodness! So the charm has worn off before you even get to.
And it's funny. So I was like Wikipediaing like crazy. I'm just like sleuthing around the internet about The Crow, and I was like, why? How did we get to 3 of these movies? And there's a 4th also.
Yes.
How did we get to this? How did we get to this like Creed level music like video that has gone on just like for 2 hours, and like that actor who's like a bad guy in everything, like he's like, I think he plays Raiden in the Mortal Kombat movies.
Not Christopher Lambert. Is Christopher Lambert in that movie?
I have no idea what you're saying right now. Anyway, like I don't want to like harp too much on Eric Mabius.
Yes,
Mabius, whatever. But I could not believe. In the description, if you find this movie online, the description says...
Let me tell you, very easy to find online.
Yeah.
Just type it in your YouTube.
Absolutely. And the description says, quote, hot stars, Eric Mabius, parentheses, Cruel Intentions, and Kirsten Dunst, parentheses, like, Bring It On.
Yeah, same year.
Same year.
Crazy. Because Crow Salvation was also direct-to-video because the financiers would not put it out on the big screen.
I mean, I could not believe the amount of money. Like, people paid money to make this movie. Eric Mabius, like, I want to believe, like, he was like, this is my Ryan Phillippe moment. I am just as hot as him. I can act just as well as him. This is it. I'm serious.
Is it William Atherton? William, that sounds right.
Are you, like, looking for, like, the bad guy?
Yeah. 22% on Rotten Tomatoes, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah.
More than I would think.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, all the reviews I was finding, like, on IMDb, it's like, oh, serviceable job for a Crow movie. And I'm like, really? The Crow in that movie is a better actor than Kirsten Dunst.
You mean the animal, the Crow?
The actor.
Not Eric Mabius.
No, not Eric Mabius. He's also garbage. The actual animal who's, like, cawing to, like, get the clues about the murder is doing more work than Kirsten Dunst in that movie.
I love, too, the fact that since you've never seen them, like, the whole thing with the makeup. So in the third movie, there's no makeup. It's like burns. But in the first movie, it's like a mask. It's grease paint because it's the mask his wife left him. And in the second movie, because it's tangentially connected to the first movie, the character Mia carries over into the second. By the way, I've seen all of the Crow movies.
Are you film buff? Like, you just cannot live like.
Are you envious of me?
You can't call yourself a film connoisseur without going through the entire.
The Crow is really the fine wine of the superhero cinematic universe.
Yes.
But it's the tangentially connected because the character Mia, who's now an adult, and she gives him the makeup. So in the third movie, because it's not connected at all, they're like, we need to give some reason. So Eric Mabius, who is is wrongly convicted of a murder and goes through the electric
stabbing
chair.
his girlfriend 52 times.
Yes, exactly. And of course, this electric chair has a helmet, like all electric chairs.
Yeah,
and
they
masks.
have that.
And so he gets the markings of the Crow burned into him.
Well, and like there's like so he's awakened by the Crow, and he like peels off.
The burned skin. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
it's been a long time.
The movie is ridiculous. Like, honestly, it was a good time to loll. Like, I was like, well, this is hilarious. But because we're talking about Kirsten Dunst. And I have to say this about, like, the things that I do not like her in. Anything that she is in where she has to, like, in service of a man.
Yes.
It's just like, and you can kind of see.
Yeah, she's not a good love interest because she's a star.
Yeah.
Like, and I know that sounds like a crazy thing because you'd think if you're a star, you would then be able to
do whatever. Anything.
Yeah. But she's not good when she has to downplay herself to push up a man.
She's not, like, interested in that, I don't think. And so, like, everything, and sort of saying she's very broad, so, like, all of it's like, please, no, I don't want, like, and I'm like, girl, get it together.
I'll make sure everyone knows that you're innocent, that you loved her.
I know this is what they're calling for, but and so I want to say, the exception that makes the rule, I think, is Wimbledon.
Yes.
I don't know if you've seen it.
I have seen it many years ago.
I saw it again this week, and I'd seen it before.
You've done I'm impressed. I need to work harder next time.
I saw Melancholia, and then the next day I was like, I cannot watch any more, like, sad, serious Kirsten Dunst movies.
So tennis.
And in this movie, she, technically is in service to Paul Bettany.
Yes.
But like...
Sorry, I don't know if you could hear me roll my eyes.
Did you? Are you not a Paul fan?
I mean, I used to be in the club, but then I was just like...
I think he was... I don't know why, but, like, I like this movie a lot. I think she's really cool in this movie. I think she has more to do than just, like, be that, like, no, you can do it. And, like, have the man do whatever. Because, I mean, that's what she did in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Peter, you can... Whatever. And, like, she's doing... Like, all those things she has to do. I'm like, oh, girl. I was watching the trailer for Crazy Beautiful, which is also kind of the same deal.
I have never seen Crazy Beautiful, and this is an exception because I know I should be open to but, like, I just find the plot of that, like, disgusting.
Yeah.
It's like you can solve mental illness by falling in love, and I hate anytime I see that in a movie. I also have a huge problem with the Silver Linings Playbook because that is the same moral in that movie. But yeah.
Yeah, and it's like all these things, and the Crow falls in this thing. Like, she's like, oh, I know you're innocent. I'm going to always be here to do whatever, blah, blah. And it's like, you can just see on her face where she's just like, well, here's my sad face. Here is me being upset and, like, whatever. In Wimbledon, I guess she has a little bit more to do because she's, like, gets to be competitive and blah, blah, blah. But the ending of that movie is a little bit like, oh, also, she got to win stuff too. But mostly, like, now we're in love and me. Like, so that movie isn't, like, perfect, but I do think it's the exception that makes the rule. Like any movie that she's in service of a man, it's like garbage.
It's so funny. That movie came out around the same time as Woody Allen's Match, which is like a dark, like drama about tennis and murder, and like I always conflate them in my head. And I'm like, wait, no, Kirsten Dunst was not in the one about murder.
Yeah, I was like, wait. I guess that does make sense.
It's Scarlett Johansson. It was when Scarlett Johansson was his muse for a hot 10 minutes.
Okay. He does go through them really quickly.
Exactly. Emma Stone has been his current one. Run, girl.
Run, girl. she got that Oscar.
Exactly.
It's over. It's canceled. Bye.
But yeah, no, I mean, I do think it's interesting, to watch her go. And I think you're onto something. I think the more supporting the role is, the less, because even in Bachelorette, even though she's playing in service of a group of people, she's kind of a standout.
She's the lead of that. She's the main, like everyone has like their own thing in that movie, but she's the audience is supposed to like connect to her and be like, oh, because I mean, these aren't good people. They're like pretty unlikable, I guess.
Well, I mean, that's the whole point of the movie.
Yeah, but like the whole point is like, I guess sometimes we're all pretty jealous of our friends. We're all like, why not me though? Why can I not do that? And at the end of the movie, like it's all fine and happy and they all love each other and it's great. But she is not just like a part of this like, cast of characters. She is kind of like the main person. You're kind of like having to balance, oh, I kind of hate you, but you're my friend, and like I guess I should stop throwing up now. But yeah. Do we have anything else to say about her?
I did want to just touch on real quick, because I know we're heading to our limit. We're trying to keep these short, very listenable, very consumable. Tidy is the term. She was most recently seen in, as I mentioned before, Hidden Figures.
Yes.
And that's part of the whole, like, she's not that great in a supporting role.
Yeah.
So she plays the racist supervisor, and I'm going to say that because I would like to play you a clip in which Kirsten Dunst says she's not. And then
drag her.
Yeah.
I'm a supervisor for the rest of the computers, the West group and the East group, and so sometimes I have to be kind of I can't say ass, right? I don't know. I have to be tough on the women, and so some of those scenes, it's hard because, it's during a time of segregation, and I don't think Vivian's racist per se, but I think that there's definitely, there's clearly a class system, and it's very uncomfortable to have to, pretend to do that stuff sometimes.
So I think, and you made this point earlier, perhaps that like fuels that character, but she plays the racist supervisor of the main characters, in which she basically just appears to say sort of nasty things, and she gets her little bit of her comeuppance at the end, and probably one of the better moments for Octavia Spencer.
Oh yeah.
But I just think it's kind of a wasted role, and I understand why she would want to do it, because it is different than something she normally does. She doesn't get to play the villain that often.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't know.
It was weird because like also, and tell me what you think, I thought she looked kind of aged.
Yes. Yeah.
I was like,
she looked like, I don't know. And I don't want to comment on someone's look that much.
No, but I was like, it was a more mature role. Like, and,
right.
and that I've seen her before. I mean, obviously, like, she looks great. She's that's a star.
That's what's interesting, because I did want to touch on, by the way, the next thing that you can see her in is The Beguiled, which is Sofia Coppola's new film. It comes out.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it comes out this summer.
She's coming back with Sofia?
Yeah, exactly. And it's her and Colin Farrell and Nicole Kidman and Elle Fanning. If you have not watched the trailer, watch the trailer, even though it probably gives a little too much away. But she looks great, and she looks like 10 to 15 years younger than she did in the last, in Figures. So
yeah, I was just like, she looked matronly.
Yes,
I guess is the word I'm saying. I'm not saying she looked bad, but it's an interesting role, I guess. I don't think she's had she kind of has to play smarmy white lady who's like condescending and like, oh, that's where your place is here, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like Hidden Figures as much as a lot of people did, and so I'm kind of just like meh.
Yeah,
in general.
No, yeah, it's not great. It's a crowd pleaser though, and that's and it's got a good message. It's got a good social message, which I appreciate in a film.
A good social message.
Yeah, that's all I'm here for.
Just like social justice, truth, justice, like the Crow, truth,
fighting
justice
for truth, justice, in the American way. I believe that's the Crow's catchphrase.
Yes, before he just pacaws way into the night.
So I think that wraps up our inaugural episode.
We did it.
We got
through it.
If you want to contact us, you will hear lovely music now, which I will edit in.
Uh-huh.
But if you want to contact us, you can find us on Twitter. Right now, we're still building our social media presence, but we're on Twitter at The Mixed Reviews. And if you want to email us with any questions, comments, or concerns, we do have an email. This is all news to Louie.
I was like, we have all these things?
Yeah. It's reviewsmixed@gmail.com.
Reviews mixed. Oh,
Yeah.
did you mix it up? Like,
Yeah, well, because, people, they snatch things up. They snatch them up.
I think we should also say, if you have any suggestions for other future episodes, who would you like us to talk about? Also, if you, what's your favorite Kirsten Dunst movie?
Absolutely, yes. We would love to hear what your favorite Kirsten Dunst movie.
I know we didn't talk about. She had a movie come out just recently called Upside Down.
Oh yes, that was 2 or 3 years ago.
I heard it wasn't good. I've never seen it.
I was going to say I don't think anybody saw it.
If you saw Upside Down, let us know.
If you're Kirsten Dunst herself, please contact us.
Yes, Kirsten.
And we did not mean to drag you in any way, shape, or form.
No, absolutely not. We love your work.
Absolutely.
I've been meaning to watch you on Fargo.
Oh, Fargo, she's amazing, hands down amazing. So good. That's a great show, but one of the highlights of season 2.
Kirsten.
Yes, Kirsten she's insanely good. And she's, how do we make it through this episode? I just realized we made it through this episode without talking about Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Oh my God.
Drop Dead Gorgeous.
I even have it on my notes. I should turn on a light.
Yeah, it's very dark.
We're in
here.
darkness now.
Crowding around a computer that keeps falling asleep.
How did you... Quickly then. Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Drop Dead Gorgeous is it's a mockumentary film in which she plays a character competing in a beauty pageant, and it's insane. It's about murder and Denise Richards is in it.
Oh my God, Denise Richards is the best work.
Yeah, exactly. Kirstie Alley, her mother. I suddenly can't think of the woman who plays.
She was on that Ryan Murphy show with the gays.
Yeah, The New Normal.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's really great. And
oh my God, Allison
Janney, who steals the show every time she's
absolutely.
I highly recommend.
In the same vein of her indie comedy world, and it's just so crazy because when you think about her, you don't think about that.
Absolutely.
But she has the receipts; they're all there. Her indie world.
And she's so good in that movie because she's so seemingly innocent and pure.
Yeah.
And when she's pushed, when she freaks out, it's always the best.
Yeah.
Amber, I'm sorry. I really am. But you know the rules. All talent costumes have to be okayed by Gladys before the pageant.
Oh, but doesn't someone taking your costume so you can't compete overrule that rule?
Amber, I'm sorry. I don't make up the rules.
Oh, this is bullshit.
Amber Atkins, that is not American Teen Princess language.
Good. Because this isn't an American Teen Princess pageant. This is nuts, Germany.
That I guess we didn't talk about virgin suicides, but
I mentioned virgin suicides at least. At least got a shout out.
It's good.
But yes, yeah, I love it.
But if you guys want to talk, drop us a line. Let us know more about what you felt about anything in the Kirsten Dunst universe.
Absolutely. So yes, once again, Twitter at The Mixed Reviews, email reviewsmixed@gmail.com. And yeah, just tell us what you want.
Cool.
We'll do it.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.